We have seen if else statements and we have talked about how they work. We also had an example on those. Now this is another example on if else statements, and this is assuming that we have a variable called score and it is larger, and then we check if it's larger than 60, then we print a message, otherwise we will print another message. Now keep in mind that when I say it's larger than 60, then the else part will include the part where score is 60 and below. So in the first condition, we say it has to be larger than 60. Now we'll talk also about logical operators, which is how do we express the following? How do we express something like not or and or even something like or? And we want to express this in some sort of if statement. So we will assume that application that we have here, if the temperature is less than 45 or it is larger than 100, then we have a boolean that says is the weather bad. We'll set that to true. Now if it's not a weekend, again we'll have another variable signaling if it's a weekend or not. So if it's not a weekend, we want to display something that says you cannot go out today, wait until the weekend. Now if it's a weekend and it's bad weather, we want to display something like it's a bad weekend, stay home. Now if it's weekend and the weather is not bad, or the boolean for bad weather is false, we want to display something like go out and have fun. How can I write this in Java? How do I display the or operator or the and operator or the not operator? What are those? How can I display them? Let's see how we can display them. Now these are called logical operators, which are very useful in those sort of cases. They will allow the programmer to use the and, or, and not. In the case of wanting to display something and something else, then we will use this Java code for signaling if it's an and. Now for example, when I want to say if it's weekend and not bad weather, so I will use and. Now the bar operator, if used twice, this is signaling for or, and the exclamation mark is what's signaling for not. So if I want to say something is not equal to, I will have the not followed by the equal sign. I will not say not equal. Although we know the equal is what's going to logically check if two things are equal, but if you want to say not equal, then you will use the not operator followed by one equal sign. Now we know how the logical operators are used. How can we display this application that we've seen right here, or how can we translate it to some Java code? So let's see how we can solve each one of those. Now assuming that we have defined all variables, so bad weather is defined, temp is defined, and weekend is defined. The first one says if the temperature is less than 45 or the temperature is higher than the 100, then this is bad weather. So this is the only thing that I have to do if I face any of those conditions. So if any one of them apply, I will just do this portion of code. So I'll say if temp less than 45 or temp larger than 100, and then within the curly brackets or curly braces, I will include the code that does switch the boolean to true. Now the second portion is, or the second part is, if it's not a weekend, display we cannot go out today, wait till the weekend. Now keep in mind that weekend is a boolean, so a boolean can only represent true or false. So if I say the boolean is representing true, then if I say not, so let's say b is equal to true. So if I say not b, what I'm doing is I'm saying false. Similarly, if let's say b is equal to false, then if I say not B, this means true. Now, one more thing inside of the if statement. So I will say if, and then I will have something to evaluate, whether it's if something is equal to something else or if it's larger than something else. Now the output of this evaluation here is going to be a Boolean. So technically this is going to be a Boolean. Can I place a Boolean in this place or in place of the whatever I'm trying to evaluate? The answer is yes, we can place a Boolean. So if my Boolean is called B, I can safely say if B. This means if B is true. So this is exactly like saying if B equal true. Now on the other hand, if I say if not B, this is exactly the same as if I say if B equal false. Why is this useful? Because here right now, if it's not weekend, then I need to display can't go out today, wait till the weekend. So if not weekend, this means if the variable storing the Boolean weekend is false. How do I say if weekend equal false? By saying if not weekend. So I'll say if not weekend, and then I'll place my print statement inside those curly braces. Now if it's the weekend and it's bad weather, then I'll say display bad weather, stay home. So I'll say okay, if weekend, that means if the variable weekend is holding a true, and that both of them, we have to include both, and this is just saying and, so we read this as and bad weather. So this means if weekend holds true and the bad weather variable also holds true, print this statement. And this is going to be only printed if both are true, because remember, both are Booleans. Now if it's weekend and the weather is not bad, how do I know the weather is not bad? Remember the bad weather Boolean. If this is false, that means weather is not bad. How do I say if a Boolean is false? I just say if not that Boolean. So I can just say if weekend and not bad weather, print the statement here. Now again, there is another way to write it. I can just use one and followed immediately by the exclamation mark. So it's either I have and then follow it by saying not the Boolean, or I can just say and not bad weather, and any one of the above will work. And this is logical operators.